This card is interesting. I think this is going to be a fantastic card. One of the things with the UFC expanding is that a lot of brilliant fighters, if they go through a hard time and don't do so well, they get demoted by being put on these little shows. Maybe that's bad for them. Maybe what it really does is enhance those little shows. Because in a sense, there's nothing actually wrong with them, except that they maybe lost 1 or 2 fights. And they are big names for such a card. I don't think I've copied it down in the right order, so you'll have to forgive the way it just comes out. I'm going to start with Michael Johnson and Edward whatever his name is. I don't know. Falaloto, something like that. He is a fighter that has only got a record of 2-1. What he's doing in the UFC, I don't really know. I don't know what he was doing in WET before. The clue is his training camp is with Chris Lieben. So I suppose it's who he knows, not how he's done. He's facing Michael Johnson, who's best known as being the loser in the finale for Tough 12. So I think it's a respectable matchup, this one. Let's say I hope that Michael Johnson wins this for the sake of Tough, because if he loses this, then it's a little bit like, you know, Edward, who is somebody who has been sort of just given the chance because of who he's worked with in the past, you know, which fight camp comes out of, has just blown off somebody who was selected and went through Tough. So I'm going to go for Michael Johnson on that basis of hope. I might go for decision. Ricardo Lamas and Matt Grice. Matt Grice, this is his... I've got some very noisy birds today. Matt Grice is making his return to the UFC after a 4-fight win streak. His record is 13-3. He wins by TKO and submission, but he also loses by both. Ricardo Lamas has a record of 9-2, and he's a sucker punch fighter. He loses often by TKO, and he's fought mixed calibers with mixed results. You know, shush! I'm going to go for Ricardo Lamas on this one. I think I shall go for decision again. Sorry to be boring. Nick Lentz and Charles Oliveira. Nick Lentz has a record of 21-3. Did you know he hasn't lost a match since 2007? But in that winning streak since then, he has had 3 draws. Charles has fought people of Nick Lentz's calibre in terms of name, but Nick Lentz has quite a long record in terms of calibres and who he's beaten. I think Nick Lentz will probably win this one. I think I will go for TKO in the second. Charlie Brenneman and TJ Grant. Well, TJ Grant has 12 submission wins. He's both won and lost against low calibers. Charlie Brenneman, on the other hand, has never been submitted. So, there we are. He usually wins by TKO, so this is going to be striker versus groundsman. I'm going to go for Charlie Brenneman just because TJ Grant's a little bit unreliable. Ideally, I think TJ Grant should win here. Maybe by decision. I don't know if he'll get a submission against somebody who's never been subbed, but I think I might go for Charlie Brenneman by decision. Anyway, Daniel Roberts and Rich Antonito. Daniel Roberts is not quite the person I thought he was. I thought he was going to be a fantastic groundsman against Claude Patrick, and it didn't really turn out that way. Rich Antonito, on the other hand, is an American top team fighter, so I'm going to go for him by TKO in the first. Joe Lozon and Kurt Warburton. You know, although he has fought last year, it feels to me like we haven't seen Joe Lozon in years. I don't know why, but there we are. Kurt Warburton, not to be messed with, although he is a Wolf Slayer fighter, so that might be a disadvantage to him, I suppose, on the ground against somebody like Joe Lozon. I'll go for Joe Lozon. I'll go for a bar submission in the third. Joe Stevenson and Javier Vasquez. Now, Joe Stevenson's record: loss, win, loss, loss, win, win, loss, loss, loss. If Joe Stevenson doesn't win this one, there's no way of justifying his position in the company. And to see somebody like him sort of drop so far in such a short space of time is quite unnerving, really. Javier Vasquez, you know, he's old, but he isn't slow, he hasn't lost much. I should go for Joe Stevenson by decision because I desperately want him to win, because I desperately want him to remain in the company. Tyson Griffin and Manny Gamburyan. Tyson Griffin is coming off 3 losses in a row, but I think the last one was quite exciting, and I think 2 out of 3 have been split decisions, if I'm right. Manny Gamburyan, very, very good on the ground, sometimes. I'm going to go for Tyson Griffin on this one, but I might go for decision. Tyson Griffin is a name taker. He's somebody who wins against people he shouldn't beat, and if he's going to loses against somebody that he should obviously beat, which means he could lose against Manny Gamburyan. But I'm going to go for Tyson Griffin on this anyway. I'll go for decision. Matt Mitrione and Christian Moorcraft. Don't remember much about Christian Moorcraft, except I think I might have underestimated him before in a previous prediction video. Matt Mitrione I know because I've met him. He's got a perfect record of 4, and he's a Rufus Sport person, so I like him. He has done very well against reasonable stand-up calibers, but Christian Moorcraft is a specialist in submission. This is going to be if Matt Mitrione can do more than just strike, but actually keep it on the feet against somebody who might want to take him to the ground. And has a better record than him. 7-1 is very good when matched with somebody who's got a perfect record of 4. Do you know, some of these are quite hard to call as well. I think I'm going to go for Matt Mitrione. I'll go for TKO in the first. I'll say that he's so quick that he manages to get rid of Christian Moorcraft before he can take him down. Have I just underestimated Christian Moorcraft once again? We shall see. Matt Brown and John Howard. Matt Brown from Gurgle's camp with a record of 11 and 10. I didn't realise his record was quite so bad. There you are. He's faced 3 losses in a row, and most of his losses are all by submission. John Howard is also facing 2 losses in a row, but his losses are to extremely high calibers. Although he wins usually by submission, I'm going to give Matt Brown the benefit of the doubt and say that John Howard will win, but by decision instead. Cheick, Kongo and Patrick Barry, my fight of the night. Cheick Kongo I met him at Cage Gladiators when he visited. I like him, he's a stand-up fighter. Pat Barry though, however, is a Rufus Sport fighter. He's also part of Sucker Punch, which is an organisation that I support. He's fantastic, he's incredibly funny, and one of his specialities is leg kicks. Now, I was talking online to a journalist called John Curry, and John Curry has an aspiration, and the aspiration is that he would love to go and meet Pat Barry. Why? Because he wants to know what it feels like to receive a leg kick from Pat Barry. Now, Pat Barry's leg kicks are, if you didn't know, absolutely extraordinary. I mean, it's the sort of thing that you might see in one of these movies where, you know, they hit a tree trunk and the whole tree comes crashing down. It's a little bit like that. There's no way that I would ever want to receive a leg kick from Pat Barry, and I don't know why anybody would, but Mr. Curry does. So just a little bit of an aside, but I think if we watch this match, we're going to see why it's not a good idea to receive a leg kick from Pat Barry, because I think that the leg kicks in this match will be what determines it. Cheick Kongo is a stand-up fighter, but it's what makes Patrick Barry so dangerous is the use of his legs. I'm expecting a TKO in the second after an incredible first round, which might be backwards and forwards, leaving both parties, you know, flailing at times. But I'm going for Pat Barry, and I hope that the leg kicks make all the difference. Who knows? Perhaps we'll get a high kick from it. I don't know. And the other one, the absolutely epic fight, this. Nathan Marquardt and Rick Story. Rick Story, an up-and-comer who's exceptional on the ground. Nathan Marquardt, one of the best ground people in the UFC. However, he hasn't finished on the ground in some time. And I think, at least I think it's him, I might be getting him confused with Demian Mayer here, actually. I might be getting him confused with Demian Mayer, but the thing that stuck out to me was Nathan Marquardt has to finish this one. I think that if it goes to decision, it's going to be Rick Story. I think that if it gets finished, it will probably be Nathan Marquardt. And the question is, am I prepared to say that I think that Rick Story will actually make his mark this time and defeat somebody of huge calibre? And, you know, I'm feeling risky because I think I've probably not done well on my predictions this time. I think it's quite hard to call this one. So I shall just say I think Rick Story will win. That could be completely stupid thing, but you never know. Even if he's an underdog, I think I'll say that I think he's going to win.